It is April 22nd, also known as Earth Day.
Absolutely.
And joining me is Chris Steinecker, President and CEO of St. Petersburg Chamber of Commerce. How are you, sir?
Fantastic, Joe. Happy Earth Day, April 22nd. We're in midweek. I think, I actually walk around Crescent Lake every night. And I know this sounds weird, but, you've seen pictures of it in other countries where the water seems a lot more clear than it had been in the past. And Crescent Lake is just really clear right now. So I don't know if some of this just people not working and whatever that means, but maybe we are being good to Mother Earth, and maybe the break they needed as well. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, you see that some interesting pictures. I think Venice, stark changes in the canals, and of course, then all the national parks. The bears are running into places they wouldn't even go near before, and in Africa, the lions are laying in the middle of the road, which is everybody's in an extended chill time, which has its benefits, even though it has some downsides for some people too.
Right. And usually Earth Day is a lot of fun here in St. Pete because there's so many groups that really do so many wonderful things just to remind us that, so it's a bummer that we're missing all those opportunities to plant some trees and just celebrate a bit, because we live in paradise and we have to take Earth Day a lot more serious than others. So I'm sorry we're not able to get out there, but there will be another one next year.
Today we're talking about keeping our Earth clean.
Yep, absolutely. What we've talked about, Joe, that our chamber is heading towards is we're in relief efforts, but we've got to get to reopen efforts. And in between relief and reopen is we've got to get healthy and understand being sanitary, making sure that we're not passing this along. And so let's learn about it today a little bit. How about it?
All right. Joining us is Dontrell Lawson from Deposit Cleaning.
So Dontrell, you and I have known each other. You're a chamber member. You actually, we do business together quite a bit. But tell people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a St. Petersburg native, born and raised here. Gone through elementary, middle, high school here. Moved back home after college and travel. Been home about 15 years now. I had a very pessimistic outlook when I came back home January 2004, excuse me. So I kind of took the mentality, be the change that I want to see in St. Pete. And through my IT travels and shifting gears, I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. And even in the real world, having this opportunity to do business in the city that I was born and raised, I really wanted to change the narrative of what a small business can do that's geared right here in St. Petersburg. So I've been excited for the last 10 years to be a part of Deposit. My wife actually came up with the name and the concept, and I've been the primary driver. We change every now and then to where she'll drive and I'm in the passenger seat, but I am I feel it an honor to be the primary driver of what started out as a Yugo, and we now have upgraded to the Cadillac.
Right. Hey, listen, we're all for the entrepreneurs of St. Pete, and your family's been one of those great ones. But so tell a little bit more about the business. How many folk now why we love entrepreneurs and why we have an entrepreneur academy and we're trying to make more of them is because entrepreneurs do something pretty special. Not only do they create a job for themselves, but you create jobs for others. So you're creating other jobs. How many folks are working for you?
Right here locally, we have about 21 people that are in the actual city, Pinellas County, that work for us. We have a total of 38 in our other locations: Georgia, South Carolina, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Philly area. So we've been able to grow and branch out in tentacles, just utilizing the government as our catalyst for reaching other places. And it's been a great boom for us.
That's awesome. And so, before we get on to just the virus itself and how it's affecting you guys, your clients range, right? You work at the Chamber of Commerce as well, but
Yes.
just give a sense of the kind of clients you have as well.
Our primary types of clients would be multifamily units, mostly in the 55 and older population, then office facilities, vacation properties, and then government facilities, whether they be state or federal facilities, so that we kind of have a nice mixture of those where the COVID is concerning. We haven't had a lot that of our clients that turned down business or slowed down. There've been one or two, but we see it as a blessing and a curse. The blessing part is just to be considered is an essential service. We take pride in what we do, and we do it with a sense of excellence, so that we ensure not only the safety of those that we serve, but we protect and we're concerned about the safety of our own staff and its effects. Just working as an essential company, the safety of those that we're sending out to do the work, including myself.
Yeah. So you've had to learn to make sure that your employees are safe first. Not that they weren't before, but now you have taken in a new precaution. What kind of things have you learned from this, from just your employee standpoint? Before we get onto the customer and serving those, just what has it taught you about your employees throughout this process?
That they are resilient. They're agile. There's nothing that we've asked of them to do that they have not acquiesced and done. They take ownership in the work that they do. We like to hold everyone accountable, and our guys and ladies, they take it personal. This is my building. I'm going to do this for my building. This is my area. I'm going to do this for my area. So we love that about our team. I think it just fosters a good continuity of a familial approach, that everyone is treated like family. And that's been great for us.
That's beautiful. And that's, again, why we love the entrepreneur, because they take it personal and then they treat others that they bring into their business that same way, and ideally build that kind of relationship. So you've got people that are working in the hardest time right now and being prideful of it. That's a beautiful thing. So now let's shift to the customer. What have you learned about this whole COVID-19? What has it changed in the way you clean? What are you being asked to do that you didn't do before? Just help us understand, because after that, I want to just talk about how do I get my businesses ready to get reopened. But let's just talk about how have you had to change your business right now?
We've had to be more of a teacher, an educator to everyone during this pandemic. We clean, that's what we're doing in the cleaning business. We clean. Disinfecting, and we've had to teach people that there's a difference between cleaning and disinfecting. We disinfect restrooms and touch points, regularly. But during this crisis, we've had to stress to everyone that there's a big difference between cleaning and disinfecting. Cleaning is something that we do every day. Every day. We disinfect bathrooms regularly. But if you're asking a janitorial company, in particular us, to come in to do a disinfecting service, we're going to ask you who cleaned the building. Just saying that you want a building to be disinfected to prevent COVID, there's 2 steps into that. We have to clean it, and then we have to disinfect it. You just can't disinfect it. If you're asking us to disinfect, that's akin to asking your children to go take a bath. You don't hear any water running, and they come back on with clean clothes and they're smelling like perfume and cologne. And that's what disinfecting without cleaning is. So we've been teaching more, showing that there's different ways of keeping your facility safe from a cleanliness standpoint, doing more of what you're doing already, but just adding a different element of it. And it's going to take a little bit more attention to detail just to going in and saying that I have 3-4 hours to do this building. I'm going to do everything that I'm doing in a different in the same routine as I've always done. It just requires you slowing down,
Right.
and just forgetting the time.
Right. And from a client perspective, it changes too, because you guys disinfected the chamber for us early on, and it requires everybody to be gone out of there. I can't, so it's also a different kind of whole procedure that educating people on. So if businesses say, "Hey, I want to disinfect," they're going to have to prepare for that as well.
Absolutely, it's and from that vantage point, that's where we're having to teach about the indoor air quality when it comes to disinfecting. A lot of that's not being spoken of when people ask about cleaning services. How do we protect your indoor air quality? Because with a virus like this, which is airborne, you're concerned about everything, not only things that you touch, but what you inhale into your body. So making sure that we're telling the clients, this is what we're going to do. This is what you can expect once we're done, type of thing. So we've been putting out as much literature as we can, trying to speak to everyone that we can, and just being at the forefront of this whole pandemic.
How's your supply chain been affected?
It's been very hard to get the common things that we took for granted, and saying that we're a janitorial company, we have access to this, and this. I'll give the example that I gave a few weeks ago. A 6-pack of sanitizer that would normally cost us $28, $29 rounded up. It cost us $89.63 for that same 6-pack of sanitizer.
Wow.
And that's the kind of pinch that we've had. A case of 96 toilet paper, single roll toilet paper rolls, that normally would cost us $31. That cost has increased to over $60 per case. So we're seeing it. We're feeling the pinch that way. It's taking longer for us to get things. We haven't had a hard time getting gloves or eyewear. That kind of stuff is in abundance. But the masks, we just got a shipment of masks in this past Friday that we ordered at the beginning of March. And then there's an uptick on those. The N95 masks that we were paying $1.80 for, they're $6 a piece. So, we're feeling the pinch, but these are essential items that we need to go out and do the jobs. The coverall suits, and the respirators, which were handily available pre-COVID. We're just having to buy them in bulk as they come in, and the suppliers replenish their shelves. We're just having to grab them so that we have enough when we have to go out and function in that capacity.
Yeah, and I'm sure right now it's hard to pass that along to customers who are barely staying open as well. But I'm sure I bet you they're pretty grateful that you're still doing what you're able to do. So I think it's pretty neat. I know we're grateful for what you're still doing. I was surprised to see you keep showing up, but you guys, the way you guys have educated us is going to be important. But now it's going to be important for you to help us educate all of these businesses, because in a couple of weeks, it might be that there's some of these businesses that are allowed to be back open, and how do we keep everybody safe and clean is going to be the business, right? So what you've learned from all this is important. Is there any tips you would give any business right now about what you've learned from all this, about all the conversations you've had these last couple of weeks from other businesses about it? What do you think people should be really thinking about if they're running a business and they're thinking about what you do for them?
Be conscientious of what you're cleaning with. Not every off-the-shelf cleaner disinfects. Notice that once you apply a solution to a service, understanding the dwell time that it takes for that particular solution to kill what it's intended to kill. Give you an example. When we fogged out the actual chamber, the reason why we ask you guys to not come back into the building for X amount of time is for us to allow the actual chemical to dwell on the surfaces after we've wipe down every touch point. You allow that chemical to just dry on those surfaces so that it actually kills whatever that pathogen is that may be there, or what you're trying to prevent from being there. Most of the things that we utilize for COVID cleaning has a 5 to 10 minute dwell time that it actually has to sit on a surface for it to truly disinfect. And we're covering from corner to corner, office or cubicle by cubicle, open spaces, chairs, everything that you can actually touch, that we take for granted, the stapler, the hole puncher, the pencil sharpener, doorknobs, keyboard, mice, all of those things. You have to allow that chemical to just sit there and dry onto that particular surface so that it truly gives you the disinfecting services that you expect once you go in. And then to make sure that you're not doing it in a capacity that it impacts your breathing, your respiratory system. So you have the same way that we apply the chemical, we have to allow it to get out of your building so that it's comfortable for you once you go back in. And that's why we ask you for that 5-6 hour leeway time before going back in there.
Gotcha. Those are great tips for everybody, but because I really believe everybody's going to start, once they put out a date, people are going to realize, hey, I've got to do something about my facility. And I know they can get a hold of you now, probably would be a good idea rather than waiting to the day of, because it takes time. Because what I've learned a lot about your process and what Stanley does for me too, it takes time. Like this is not a rush job. And you don't want, if you have somebody in your business saying they can do a rush job for you, you probably don't want it, is what it sounds like, right?
You're correct. There's this whole COVID pandemic has made us and other companies that are doing this slow down the actual process in which we take care of a building.
Gotcha.
Because again, it's you're more conscious of the things that people touch regularly, pens, gym clips, all those things. You want to make sure that you're going over them with a cleaning solution and then doubling back to disinfecting afterwards. So it's forced all of us to just slow down.
Dang. Well, I appreciate it so much, Dontrell. First of all, for your friendship and your partnership at the Chamber, what you're doing for our community, and just those helpful tips. I know that you're about to get a lot more busy here as people try to re-enter, and so I'd get a hold of Dontrell if you're watching right now quickly. But there's others like you out there that can help. But I think making sure we do this right so that we don't go back and have to do it again in 3 months is really important. So for folks that are watching, guys like Dontrell are very important to make sure you know who the experts are and what they can do for you. So thanks for being on our show today. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you guys for having us. And like I said, Japosit wants to be at the forefront of the COVID pandemic, offering disinfecting services, not only to our clients that we have right now, but to the general city at large. So feel free to contact us. Phone, email, fax, reach out any way that you can to inquire about our disinfecting services.
Beautiful.
We're here to serve.
Yeah, right on. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Joe, for having us today.
All right. Good to see you both.